Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons and damage control. We've got the CEO of Hasbro, Mr. Cocks, out there basically addressing a lot of the issues that players and fans and journalists have had over the last couple months about the state of D&D. And he wants to tell you everything's fine here. It's all fine. Layoffs, it's fine. It's fine. The D&D is fine. We're going to be making toys and board games 100 years from now. We're not quitting anything. It's fine. It's all fine here. How are you?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons and damage control. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
So yeah, let's just give you a bird's eye view of all the drama around D&D. They had the OGL debacle, which is basically if you create fan content for Dungeons and Dragons, they basically could take it if they wanted to, and that was a huge issue, and then they had to walk that back. Then they had the situation with AI art. First, they said, no, we're not using AI. Okay, we're using AI, but we didn't use AI for the finished art. Well, okay,
we did. Yeah, we did.
But we did. But yeah, okay, you got us. But you know what? We're still going to employ artists, and we're going to be very careful how we use. Oh, we're laying a bunch of people off now. They just all happen to be people that work on D&D. Yeah, so there's that.
Yeah.
Larian Studios apparently walked away from them after they had a massive hit with Baldur's Gate 3. Apparently they were difficult to work with. We thought
shocker.
We thought it was the other way around, but apparently it was Larian who decided they were gonna just cut themselves loose.
Makes much more sense. And also, I mean, how bad was it if that was the case? You have to wonder.
They said none of the people that they worked with at Wizards of the Coast were still there. We had the 50th anniversary. We had the lead designer, one of the lead designers out there basically throwing shade at the guys who created D&D. And we're kind of like, well, they were just, a couple of, basically rednecks from the flyover states and the middle-aged white guys. No, it was a very bigoted time back then. Unlike now, everything's progressive now.
Yeah.
So look, they're taking a hit. Critical Role, I guess, kicked them to the curb too. And that was their biggest, fan community. And now Chris Cocks, after laying a bunch of people off, after seeing the stock tank, now he has to do some damage control. So this is coming from WBUR.
Sorry, every time I think of that, it sounds, I could think of diabetes.
Diabetes, Wilbur Radio, or Wilfred Radio.
I know it's Wilfred, but I'm just
Wilfred
I don't know why it keeps coming up as like diabetes in my head. I don't know.
Hasbro CEO on the future of Dungeons & Dragons after the 50th anniversary. D&D turns 50 this year, and its owner plans to make games like it's the core of their business. After they laid off a bunch of people at Wizards. No.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
I know, right?
Bullshit. If you look at Dungeons & Dragons, if you look at our board games, more people are playing these games than ever before, said Chris Cocks. Our satisfaction rates, the happiness that players have, are higher than ever.
Yeah, sure. Oh my God.
Oh, we forgot about the Pinkertons too. Remember?
Oh my God.
Remember?
I didn't forget. I was going to.
Yeah, remember?
I was holding that one in.
Oh my God. So remember, if you open Magic cards early and you open them on YouTube, they will send thugs to your house to rough you up. Yeah.
What flipping Willy Wonka experience is this guy living in? I mean,
a world of pure imagination.
The happiness the players have are higher than ever. The AI told us so.
Company can point to the digital D&D adaptation Baldur's Gate 3. It was so great that Larian walked away from them.
I don't know about that, but that was like one game that they kind of took from somebody else.
Last year, Hasbro also weathered backlash over a leaked, then dropped change to its fan licensing agreement. That'd be the OGL 1.1 debacle, which is incredibly well documented online, and disappointing box office for Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. The OGL debacle, I think, hurt the box office for Honor Among Thieves.
Well, they hurt their own box office for Honor Among Thieves.
And the people associated with the production, the producers, directors, whoever they were out there talking about how they're going to emasculate men. That hurt their box office. Because we've said it before, the movie is actually pretty good. It was pretty good. I liked it. I thought it was good. But
I'm sorry, is that him down there?
Yeah.
If you just saw his face, it looked like an old gym teacher.
He does look like a gym teacher.
No, but like the female gym teacher.
Oh!
Am I wrong? I'm not wrong.
Okay.
I'm not wrong.
Layoffs came just before Christmas. Hasbro slashed more than 1,000 jobs. Yeah, things are fine. They're great. 1,000 jobs mid-December, mostly from its ailing toy brands. No, a lot of them came from Dungeons and Dragons. Positions at D&D, ultra-popular card game Magic the Gathering also got the axe. Meanwhile, the company faces burgeoning competition. Critical Role. Wow, they're bringing all this stuff up. The media franchise spawned from live D&D broadcasts has started to produce a rival tabletop gaming system. Online markets like DriveThruRPG feature dozens of alternative role-playing games, which often find champions in YouTubers. But despite pessimism from some fans on social media, I wonder if any of these are like our videos.
The pessimism from some fans. You mean people calling out your bullshit? You mean those people?
Yeah.
Those calling out your bullshit. What pessimism? Who's this?
This is the character sheet on comicbook.com. This one is, I'm looking to see. I want to see if they say.
I doubt we got it. We got it.
This is, oh yeah, Dungeons and Discourse. She's been very vocal. And this one is
social media.
Not me.
I told you it wasn't going to be you.
They're not gonna
be you.
But that's good though, because then you can't say that it's just us. Because people were trying to say we were just the ones being negative.
Were they?
Yeah, before the OGL thing, they're like, well, Clownfish just hates everything, and they just hate Wizards, and Wizards are a fantastic progressive company, and you guys just don't understand. Poor Wizards, Clownfish is just unfairly beating up on them. I'm like, oh, now you see what they're actually like. It's like you're a little late to the party. Cox sees a sparkling future for D&D and Hasbro gaming properties, IP. I've been playing D&D since 83, says Cox. I've been playing Magic the Gathering since 95. We don't think about this just as a short-term sugar high.
What?
We think about... This does not sound like a guy who's been playing this game for most of his
fellow
life.
Kids, I swear I've been playing it for a long time.
We think about this as being stewards of the brands who come to it, not just as business people or designers, but as fans of these brands. And we want to pass the torch to new generations of fans, even brighter than we found it. Yeah, so you throw the creators of Dungeons & Dragons under the bus. You demonize the fans when they complain about you stealing their shit, and you send the Pinkertons to their house.
Well, you want to pass the torch. Why is he still there?
Yeah, right?
Why not bring somebody else in this, somebody younger?
Oh, God, they're going on about Monopoly Go being this, like, freaking multi-billion-dollar. Yeah, I said, Magic the Gathering made record profits despite grumblings from longtime players. Yeah, because they overproduced, overprinted cards. I know a lot of resellers, not that it's their problem. Resellers really aren't their problem when it comes to, the aftermarket, but like, they've gone out of business, or they're not carrying Magic anymore because they're like, we're not making money at this. We've got one of the best game portfolios in the world, says Cox. I think when you talk to this is delusional. I think when you talk to Hasbro CEO on your second 100th anniversary, 99 years from now, I think they'll be talking about how we're still into toys and how we're still into games and how we're talking about the next generation of exciting technology or play patterns that we can be innovating on. That's certainly what we're trying to build for now.
Oh, I guarantee you're not going to be in business by then.
You're not going to be in business that long.
But your toys aren't doing well because you're making them, so shitty. Then you're talking about how to cut costs even more.
It sounds like a guy who has to justify his job to some board members because I think they're asking questions like, dude, what's going on? This guy's from Microsoft. Remember, this guy's from Microsoft. And so is Cynthia Williams, who's in charge of WotC. They're from Microsoft. They want to turn Hasbro into a video game company or you know what I'm saying? And it's a really bad time to do that because all these AAA studios are laying people off. It's a really bad time to do this. Here's the questions. Can you explain the mass layoffs last year? Oh, God, this is so corporate-y. We've been going through a turnaround for the last couple of years. Bullshit. Yeah, you've been turning around into the fucking ground.
Yeah, like a screw. You're just screwing it into the ground.
Particularly on our toy business. Yes, because all the toys you're making, they're all going to Ollie's because nobody wants them because they're all based on Disney shit. Plus, the quality's not there. Making these tough trade-offs around how we preserve our cost base, drive our growth, and think about where we want to go in the future of the company. It's always hard, especially when it affects people we work with who are friends and colleagues and who are loyal to the company. Have a lot of good that did you. We had to make the tough decision to let some people go at the end of last year. That overwhelmingly affected our toy business and the kind of corporate services that help support it. It has a smaller impact on our games business.
Well, because a lot of people you got rid of are games or Magic people.
That's not what Larian said. Larian said literally everybody they worked with when they started working on Baldur's Gate 3 got gone. And they just found out about it. That's bullshit. It was more around just kind of changing priorities in a rapidly growing and developing business, because games had been a business that's been growing for us for 15 years.
No, because he came from games.
He came from video games. He wants to turn it all into shitty.
That's going to be a major grower for us in the future. They're going to turn it to games.
We're going to turn it into a mobile app. They're going to turn D&D and Magic into a shitty mobile app like Monopoly Go. And, oh, by the way, we sell a board game version of it too, but nobody gives a shit. We're just going to print money with a digital thing. What is it that's more challenging about the toy side that has you pivoting more to the game side? Your toys don't fucking sell because they're all based on Disney shit. We've got great creative teams and make something. We've got some iconic brands that people literally have grown up with the last 100 years. It's more of an industry thing. A lot of shit there, the older stuff, they're sending it to Basic Fun. They're not even making the toys, the Lincoln Logs and the light brights and stuff.
They're saying, well, games are growing, in the mid-high single digits, but toys are in the single-digit basis. And basically people are playing games earlier.
Maybe if the toys were good. This is something that I talked to Scott Knightley about when he came on the podcast. And we talked about how there are no new franchises for today's kids. Everything is just a rehash of a rehash. So it's either little kids stuff or stuff for adult collectors.
Okay, this next one, though. A number of fans said they were outraged when a leaked corporate document came out that would have taken some royalty money from individual creators who make content of their own for the game, say a new monster or a new world. Hasbro walked back that plan, but some fans are still unhappy with the direction the game is going. How do you make sure to win them back? Always going on about it. We try to think about things not just around who's posting online or who's posting videos associated with the brands.
Oh my God.
Who's just playing around the kitchen table? And social media is great. It's a wonderful thing. It's a very powerful marketing vehicle for us. It's also a great way for us to connect with our fans and connect with influencers that agree with us. But you also have to really make a broad sampling of players' opinions. If you look at the net satisfaction rate, kind of loyalty or satisfaction rate, they generally are up.
Okay.
So you cherry pick the fucking information.
Yeah. So why did you, if influencers
cherry picks the information? Oh, I'm sorry, a Cox.
The cock picked your cherry. That happens sometimes. So look. They had this whole social media influencer hoedown after the OGL debacle.
The ones that are approved by them that kiss their ass.
Right. But even then, those people, those approved ass kissers, turned on them. So now they're like, well, we don't really need influencers after all, because whatever the stupid people at Walmart buy, that's where it really matters. No, this guy's trying to justify his job. I think his job's on the line. This sounds to me like a man whose job is on the line and he's going point by point because the board of directors might not be as public as the Disney thing, but they might be asking him some questions like, hey, dude, people have a lot of issues. Like all the videos about D&D and Magic are negative. The sales are down. People are taking videos of the piles of toys at Ollie's. What the hell is going on? We made mistakes. We had some products that haven't done as well. We made some decisions that we've had in some cases quickly walked back. And I think it's the strength of the game that we're as connected to our community as we are, that we empower our teams to make decisions, be as agile and learn from them. Yeah, then you fired a bunch of people. D&D has one of the most open game licenses in the history of gaming. It's got a vibrant creator community that we value a great deal. We continue to work with those creators. A lot of them walked away. We continue to work with those small publishers. We continue to work with those streamers to make the game as big as possible and as great of a hobby as well as a living for people who kind of create around it as we possibly can. Critical Role dumped your ass. I'm just saying that was the best marketing you had online, and they dumped your ass.
And the next one, they're talking about when Bank of America downgraded the company's stock because they said they were killing the golden goose and flooding the market. And he's like, well, it's important to say that a couple months later, they gave it rating. They raised it back up to a buy.
God.
We tripled the size of the game. And we've expanded the overall player base. How? You basically turned off a bunch of your old players. You've alienated most of your fans.
Yeah, and they keep doing the stupid IP tie-ins and stuff. Every freaking brand under the sun has a Magic the Gathering tie-in.
Oh, wait, it gets better. Most video games, particularly the most kind of more hardcore strategy games, they have been 10 or 15% of the player base that identify as non-male. For Magic, it's more like 35% of players identify as non-male. For D&D, it's closer to 45%. We're very proud of diversity and the focus on all players at different stripes who can play the game. Women always played.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Women wrote some of the most successful novels and campaign morals.
Cox was going to say that's not true. Thankfully, he came and made sure.
Cox tried to screw Margaret Wise. Dragonlance, I'm just saying. We tried very hard to figure out different modes to play, making it more social, making it more casual in nature while still offering great depth of play for competitive and highly strategic players. They're talking about how, like, they're small businesses. They only do 200,000, 300,000 a year. Everybody's doing good. Now, I've heard of several shops that have stopped carrying Magic because they're like, we can't sell it. Hasbro also has a video game coming out starring Matthew McConaughey after D&D only did okay, but is this where you're headed?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. We have said repeatedly that they want to be a shitty mobile app company. They want to be a video game company and not a toy company. Hasbro has a video game coming out. Is this where you're headed? Not into Hollywood movies, but games. I think it's all the above. We continue to invest in entertainment. We have a pretty significant team there. We have some great Hollywood movies and TV shows in development. They talked about they're going to do, which I think is a terrible idea. They're going to do a G.I. Joe Transformers movie. The G.I. Joe movies have been non-starters, right? Snake Eyes was a massive bomb. And the last Transformers movie was mid, right? Didn't do that great. But let's combine the two together, right?
Right. Maybe if they both suck and we put them together, their suckiness will combine to create to transform into some box office or revenue.
Merge to form Devasuck. Suckinator.
I'm just saying, maybe because if you take their suck and this suck, maybe they're hoping two negatives equal positive.
Transformers 1's going to be a major animated movie. Yeah, they're going to do, I guess it's a prequel to the Bayformers movies and Bumblebee, but it's just on Cybertron.
You mean
I guess.
The cartoon?
It's called a cartoon.
No,
yes.
Yes,
Video games are obviously a huge form of entertainment. I think more and more that they're dominating younger viewers and younger players' favorite brands. I think you see the success of video games with the Mario movie, and we want some of that, basically.
Mm-hmm. But you don't have a Mario.
You don't have a Mario. We continue to invest behind entertainment. Where we can, we're investing more and more in digital. And then we've got our great kind of physical-based play portfolio of iconic games and toys. Now, digital first, and then, we'll make some physical stuff too. I still think, before it's all said and done, that they are going to outsource almost all their toys and games to other companies. And they're just going to be this.
I think before it's all said and done, he's going to get booted.
He needs to go. Like, we don't have any more Hasbros at Hasbro. Like, I know there are some people in that family that could run this company better than he could. They need to come up with new stuff. They're not coming up with new stuff at all. They're just, it's just like Disney. But worse in some ways. Like, they just bought a bunch of stuff and, they have a couple of brands. But even the brands that they have, other than My Little Pony, most, like, Transformers were repackaged Japanese toys. And the storyline came from Marvel Comics. And then, My Little Pony was in-house, but that's kind of dormant now too, other than the reissues. But D&D they bought, and all the board games and stuff, the Monopoly, all that stuff they bought. Like, they ain't done shit. They haven't done anything really new in decades. I don't know. We're going to wrap this up. Mm-hmm. Okay, please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.